not going to ask Ron Wotus that. He's a champ. He's my guy, 3-time World Series champ, long-time manager with the Giants, third base, in the dugout. He's done everything with the San Francisco Giants, even coached their minor league team. Now he looks so damn good on television. Saw him at the Bay Area Sports Hall of Fame. He's now doing the Giants pre- and post-game on NBC Sports Bay Area with the great Laura Brent. I love when Woody's down in the studio. What's up, Ron? Good morning, man. Welcome back to the Morning Roast with Joe Shasky and Bonte Hill.
Hey, Bonte. Good morning, guys. How you guys doing? I'm doing well. Thanks for the nice introduction. You're talking about the Mona Lisa. I caught the end of that. What's up with the Mona Lisa?
So yesterday Shasky said, boy, you're painting a Picasso. Or I said, I'm painting a Picasso. And Shasky goes, does that make me Michelangelo? I said, sure. By the way, speaking of art, I went to the Louvre a couple years ago, and I saw the Mona Lisa, and I just wasn't impressed. There's a lot more paintings that looked a lot better. I'm thinking, what's the big deal about the Mona Lisa? So we decided that maybe it's a little overrated. I don't know, Ron, maybe I'm just being too young and dumb right now, but I'm saying, how's that thing worth $860 million? See, it's not even smiling, Ron.
Yeah, and it's old, too, right? I mean, who wants a piece of art that's real old? I liked Whistler's mother a little bit better, I mean, honestly.
That is great knowledge right there. That's why you're the man, Ron. Even Shasky's jaw dropped. You left him at a loss for words. Well, Marco Luciano yesterday left us at a loss for words. And look, he's struggling. And we wanted to bring him on because we know how many times I watch you out there take infield with the guys and show guys how to. What's been the fundamental problem with Marco Luciano so far at shortstop in his young career with the Giants?
Well, you know, he's worked extremely hard to make himself a shortstop, and the kid has gotten a lot better. And, you know, there was a couple balls. I know he's had more than a couple errors here, but there was a couple balls that had that top spin. And as you well know, the game speeds up a little bit at the major league level. Now, you know, in talking to him, the two balls in particular that were double play balls that were kind of bounding balls that a third baseman get to hit a little top spin, and they pretty much ate him up. And the bottom line is he's still a work in progress defensively. He's gotten a lot better. He knows those are plays he has to make. And, you know, come down to yesterday on that little ball to his left, again, speed of the game. He knows that Scott can run a little bit, but he just took a little too much time to get the ball over the first. And, you know, those are growing pains for a young player. And as I said, he's working hard at it, but he still has a ways to go at the shortstop position.
Ron, he's been in the system for quite some time, and none of us see, you know, how development happens in the bigs, in the minors, etc. Where was he at a couple of years ago, and why is he not farther along currently? Is this just the natural progression from where he started?
Well, you know, he was awfully young when he signed. You know, he's a big, strong kid. He's had a lot of injuries in his career, quite frankly. He's missed a lot of playing time. And even though he's been in the organization 4 or 5 years, his games played has still been limited because of the injuries that he's had. He's had hammies, he's had shoulders, he had a back. And, you know, so it's you can't go by the years. You got to go by games played and the experience that he's getting at a higher level. I mean, he just got to AAA last year. But, you know, he's got to work hard at it. I mean, he's not a prototypical shortstop when you look at, you know, his size and the way he moves, et cetera, et cetera. So, you know, he'll keep working hard. I know that.
No doubt about that. Go ahead, Shasky.
No, I just, you know, Ron, you've been in the game a long, long time, and I know that, you know, training has evolved. The way the minor leagues has evolved. I'm looking at the college game and these facilities and the staffs that they have and the nutrition and the weight training. And there's never one path for everyone. But I feel like we put a lot into the minor league development, and I don't think we know enough, at least as fans and as media. I don't think I have any kind of real feel for what is going on down there. Is that an accurate statement?
No, not for me. I mean, you look at, you got to remember, a lot of these guys, when they're drafted, we hype them up, right? I mean, they're this, they're that. And, you know, not every number one pick becomes a solid major league player. I mean, we can name a number of guys, even back when I played with the Pirates. I mean, there were a number of guys, number one picks that don't even sniff the big league. So it's not it's not an exact science. drafting these guys. And usually the draft is the most important part for me. You can only get a player so much better, and then it's up to them and their skill set, whether they can take it to the next level. I've seen a number of players, be able to compete in A ball and double A, and they get to triple A and then the big leagues. And, they just can't make the mental adjustments that they need to make to be a big league player. And I think that's what separates the great players from the average players to the guys that never are able to establish themselves as an everyday player, the mental adjustments. And that's a harder read. Sometimes you just got to give them an opportunity and see how they handle it. So, aptitude and retention and all that really comes into play when you're talking about polishing off a guy at the major league level. Can he make adjustments? Can he think hitting? Can he do the things he needs to do to be successful? And you can't coach all of those intangibles.
No doubt about that. Ron Wotus here on the Morning Roast, long-time coach with the Giants, 3-time World Series champion. Now you catch him on Giants pre- and post-game live, Laura Britt and company at NBC Sports Bay Area. Now, one guy who does look different at the shortstop position is Brett Wisely. Brett Wisely quietly having a hell of a 2-week stretch here, and he's making some plays at shortstop. What's the difference between last season and this season for Brett Wisely? What do you see from him, Ron?
Well, maturity. And, I think to the previous question, if we continue along that theme, he's a year older. And I'm going to say that the whole lot of young players, a lot of these guys were up last year. We've seen Ramos before. We've seen Wisely. We've seen a number of these guys. And I think, a lot of them, it was their first time in the big leagues or getting an opportunity. And maybe, they're giving their best, but there's an adjustment period at the major league level. So they all had a taste last year. Now they've gone back and they're getting more reps. And, would you rather be Sacramento or San Francisco playing baseball?
Right.
And a lot of these guys, even some of these pitchers, look at Jelly, how he's come on. He didn't have such a great, he was very serviceable last year. We used him, but now we're using him in high leverage situations because he's got the experience. He's been able to get his feet on the ground, make the necessary adjustments with location, et cetera, et cetera. So Wisely is maturing. He's really not a shortstop. He hasn't played a lot of shortstop in the minor leagues. He's a heck of a second baseman, outfielder, but it just shows you, another year of reps on his development. And, it's hard to predict these things, but I think a lot of the young kids, that's the biggest difference why they're contributing so much. They have another year under their belt, and, they're a lot more comfortable and they're a lot more prepared to compete at this level.
Yeah. Wisely's been excellent. He made a couple of plays in the hole the other day, just to even get a force, a couple of plays up the middle. He's been really good at shortstop. What's your read on Kyle Harrison right now? He throws the fastball a lot, and it feels like he can't get a second or third pitch over for a strike consistently. What are you seeing from Kyle Harrison? He clearly has tools, but it feels like he's kind of a work in progress at the big league level as well.
I think that's accurate. Look, he has outstanding stuff. He's got a swing and miss fastball, that upshoot fastball up in the zone is a very effective pitch for him. But as you said, if you don't get ahead of hitters or have a secondary pitch that you can throw for a strike, when you need it, it makes it a lot more difficult to get major league hitters out. And he's done a good job. But yesterday he struggled. But again, if you saw him at the beginning of last year in Sacramento, like I did, and he had a difficult time just, getting through, he had 60 pitches for a while and getting through 3 innings, 2 or 3 innings because of the walks and the command. So what he's doing for us and where he's pitching in the major leagues compared to where he was at last year is huge improvement. And, we tend to forget that because they're in the big leagues, and the big leagues is a performance league. It's not a developmental league, right? We don't want to live with growing pains in the major leagues, but we believe in him enough to stick him in that rotation and give him the opportunity to learn at the major league level. Just as, Lucy and some of these other guys that are getting an opportunity, and, sometimes they flourish and sometimes they struggle. So, Kyle's, command has always been part of his game that he's, trying to improve. And when he doesn't have it, it's much more difficult because, you want to be able to locate a fastball and throw a secondary pitch for a strike whenever you want. That's how you get hitters out, right? I mean, if you can't do that and you got a 2-0 count, you got to throw a fastball down the middle, you're going to get whacked. So having a secondary pitch that you can throw at will over the plate when you're behind a count is very, very important, or to be able to locate those fastball, those two things.
You know, Ron, coming off that road trip, the Giants, when they beat the Mets 2 out of 3 and could have got the sweep there, but, you know, they're playing good baseball on the road trip. They go 4-2. They win a series against the Phillies, who have been one of the better teams in baseball, if not the best team in baseball. Now the Yankees are coming to town this weekend. This Giants team, it's been a lot of fun. They've shown a lot of resiliency, and we have no idea where it's going. But the trial by fire for the youngsters, you get great play from Matt Chapman. I do want to ask you about Matt Chapman playing third base. Some of the plays he's making, I'm like, wow. I don't think I've seen this in the Giants uniform. We just watched Brandon Crawford for a decade. Do you like where the Giants are at as a team right now, Ron, heading into June?
Absolutely. Look, you know, we were 6 games under 500. It didn't look like we were moving in the right direction at all. And all of a sudden we had all these injuries. And, you know, these kids have come up and really energized the ball club. They've all been contributing for the most part. You know, you mentioned Wisely, even Ramos, and, of course, Matos, you know, what they all did coming up here. And, you know, that's a good thing. Our depth is sound. And, you know, it's good to see that young players performing, just not, you know, muddling along or having a good game here or there. So you put that together with the guys we have on the IL, and they're coming back, and some of these guys are going to have to go back, you know, but hopefully they'll be ready when they're called upon again, because you're going to need, you know, 35 guys, you know, through the course of the season. And that's the good news for the Giants. You know, we've won our last, 4 series, and that's what you want to do. You want to win series. We beat a good team in Philadelphia, and I think they're finding their stride a little bit. And it's not only on the position side; it's on the pitching side too. I mean, Howard came up and contributed. I mentioned Jelly. You know, there's some guys that are very, very usable down there in Sacramento that we're going to need throughout the course of the season.
You know, I'm looking at Ramos and Matos in particular, those two young players, and their approach to the plate has been so much better than the last time that we saw Matos last season, and then Ramos, obviously, the handful of times that he came up. And you could see the transformation in both their bodies. Which one of the two, if you had to choose between them, are you most intrigued with as a long-term solution?
Well, you know, the pure hitter is certainly Matos. I mean, he's, you know, has the real good bat-to-ball skills. His biggest adjustment this winter is, besides just some natural maturity, is he really hit the weights hard, and he got a lot stronger. If you remember last year, a lot of the balls he was hitting, you know, they were going to the warning track, and he was putting the ball in play, but he really bulked up. He got a lot stronger, and that extra strength has really helped him. Now he's really driving the ball. You know, Ramos is just a light switch went on for him, honestly, in my opinion. I've seen him for a long time. I always liked him. He was very assertive kid, very aggressive kid. You know, he had a baby, and I don't know what it is this year besides some adjustments, but he went from a guy that chased a lot of pitches when he was hitting, you know, outside the zone. And now all of a sudden, I mean, you see it at times, he'll chase the fastball up like everybody does. But all of a sudden, he's giving you good at-bats. He's swinging at strikes, and he's strong as an ox. I mean, this kid, you watch him take BP, you know, he can hit it out of right, he can hit it out of center, but he's become a much better hitter and in a short period of time. So it's been really, really good to see the way he has changed his game really in 1 year. You don't see it happen like this for me. I haven't seen it happen like this very often, where a guy, all of a sudden a light switch goes on and all of a sudden he's putting things together. But, you know, back to your original question, you know, your timeline for everybody can be different. We forget how young some of these guys are. He's still a young guy. You're trying to compete at the major league level. It's an adjustment, and he's been ready for the moment this time, no doubt.
Yeah, they're playing well. Matos, Ramos, and his team has brought some excitement back to the city and to the ballpark, and it should be very exciting when the Bronx Bombers come to town starting tomorrow, and the Giants are set up well. They're set up well for the series. Hicks, Snell, and Webb, man. This is big time for the Giants. They could get another series here and feel confident going on this road trip. Ron, when you back on television?
That's a good question.
Do I need to call some people? I need to call some people for you, Ron?
No, I'm working plenty. Trust me. I think to Chicago when we play the Cubs. So I think it's a couple weeks away. But, yeah, I agree with you. It's nice. It's going to be fun watching the Yankees in this ballpark. Everybody likes to beat the guys from Gotham, and they don't come out here very often. So it should be an exciting time this weekend.
Anytime, man. Thanks for the time,
Ron.
as always, Ron. We always love having you on.
Thanks for having me, guys. You have a great day.
You too.
Right, you too. Ron Wotus here on the Morning Rush on 95.7 The Game. One of the good guys. One of the first guys when I started covering, pro sports. Is always approachable. Always, I had a minute for you. Always says hello. He's one of the good guys.